authorized to take action.
Well, we're here to talk about Space Wars, Quest for the Deepstar, and we have so many people here today. So without further ado, I want you each to introduce yourselves and what role you play in the film, because this is by far the biggest group interview I've ever done in my career, if you want to call it that.
I'm Garo Setian. I'm the producer, director, editor of the movie. Well, one of the producers. And this is Anahit.
Yep, I play Jackie.
And she's also a producer.
True.
I'm Sarah French. I play Taylor. I'm Joe Knetter. I'm the writer.
I'm Sarah French, and I play Taylor.
Yeah, just so you know, it was Freaky Friday for a second there.
And I'm Rachele Brooke Smith, and I play Nina.
And I'm Tyler Gallant, and I play Wade.
And I'm Sadie Katz, and I play Elnora.
Oh man, I gotta say I'm excited to talk to all of you about this movie because I actually watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I had such a blast watching it. It was like so much fun, so many twists and turns, so many great performances from all you guys, as well as Michael and Olivier, and I just had so much fun watching this. I just felt like I was watching a good old popcorn sci-fi flick, and I just enjoyed every single moment of it.
Which is exactly what we're going for.
So my first, yeah.
So I just said that's exactly what we were going for with this film. A fun, adventurous popcorn movie.
So my first question's for Garo. Where did the idea come from for this movie?
Well, it actually began, where I was working with Jeff Miller on one of his trailers. I'm a trailer editor. That's my regular thing. And he was also a fan of my previous film, Automation, which was a killer robot movie. And he wanted to do a science fiction movie with me. And I had a script for a space movie that I gave him. And he really liked it, but it wasn't quite the kind of sci-fi movie he wanted to do. And he wanted something with like monsters and things in it. So I was just sitting around thinking one day, and Sarah was posting all these videos of her doing this incredible weight training and workout stuff, flipping tires, military style workouts. And Anahit and I really enjoyed working with her on Automation. She had a part in that. And we were like, maybe we can make her like our Mila Jovovich. We can turn her into an action hero in this next thing. So I met with Sarah, and I asked her if Joe would be interested in writing something with me. And she says, yes, he would love it. He loves science fiction and everything. And that was basically it. I had sort of a vision for some of these big, crazy action scenes. And with Joe, we found a storyline to like bring it all together and turn it into this action adventure movie that you've seen now.
That's awesome. And I gotta say, Joe, you and Garo did an amazing job with the scripts. Michael's character was totally like remind me of Han Solo. The wild, outgoing, and he was a cross between Han Solo and Star-Lord, like that wild, adventurous type. And Sarah, had to like keep him on a level. So, and then the fact that she got to kick butt in this movie, she's like the Gamora of the film, hands down. Except she's not an alien. She's the daughter, obviously, but just that fact. And then we get to see all you guys, the rest of you in this movie. And Sadie, as I was telling you before we started recording, you're like Aisha of Guardians of the Galaxy, where you just kept popping up in between this adventure. You would just pop up and trying to kill both Kip and Taylor. And what was that? How did you come up with that character and trying to get in the role?
You know what? I feel like I was really lucky that Joe has written actually a couple of characters for me, and I've worked with Garo, and he's also kind of been, they let me do what I do ridiculously. And I feel like playing villains is really a lot of fun, but nothing was as much fun as playing Eleonora. One of the things that was really nice though was that Michael, he called me before and he said, well, what are you going to do with this? Because we filmed at different times, and he actually came down to set, which actors don't normally do. So he drove from across town on a day when he wasn't shooting. And he was like, let's play around with it. And so at first, as actors, you never want to be too big. And then he goes, no, what are you talking about? Be big. And then I talked to Garo, and Garo said, just go for it. Be as crazy and as big as you want. And that was like, to me, one of the funnest things is to like go in and really do like a genre sci-fi and be like, not, as an actor, sometimes you're like holding back and judging. I was like, I am going to be the meanest, most ridiculous villain ever. And I'm so happy that I'm in the movie. And I think it's great because we do have, obviously, Sarah plays a really grounded, sweet, fabulous character. I really think that Anahit's a little bit of the star of the show because she's so damn good.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Lots of things going on. So I feel like, even I don't want to give away anything with Tyler's character, but even like the reversals and all the different things that happen, kind of give you room to play bigger than you normally could.
Yeah, and Anahit, I gotta say, you're great as Jackie. I mean, you brought this quirkiness to the role, especially with your scenes with Michael and Sarah. And what was it like working with those two?
Oh, fantastic. Sarah is a professional and so is Michael. And it was so easy. When we were on set, we had like pages and pages to do, and we just ran right through them. And we were so lucky to have the cast that we have. And we trusted each one of our actors to bring their special something into each character. And that's what makes this movie so much fun. Everybody brought their own essence, their own giftings. And Garo was great in giving us room to play with that. And so was Joe. It's because when you have a writer on set, you're like, oh my God, I got to stick to the lines, But Joe gave us the freedom to come up to him and say, this one doesn't quite work for me. Can I say this? Are you okay with that? And he was like, run with it. And the freedom between what Joe and Garo had on set was just amazing. It gave us freedom to play and create, which was fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, let's get to some of the bad guys now, Rachel and Tyler, because you guys worked with an absolute action legend, Olivier Gruner, who I absolutely love. I've watched him since his very first movie, Angel Town. And Rachel, you were fantastic as Nina, as that little femme fatale thing. You obviously had a crush on him, and yet just so oblivious to everything. And then Tyler, you just played this total badass in Wade. What was it like working with Olivier on the set?
Tyler, you want to go first? I'll go after you.
Oh, all right. It was awesome working with Olivier. Obviously, like you said, he's been doing it a very long time. He's very skilled. It's anytime you work with someone like that, it was kind of cool getting to pick his brain a little bit about, ways that he does things. And he taught me a few little things on set as well. I mean, I asked him about, a few technical issues as far as stunt stuff goes with fighting. And he's obviously a master at it. So it was cool to get to work with someone like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I nerd out when it comes to action scenes and tactical stuff. So any down moment we had on set, which was not a lot because we were having to film really fast. But I, did several different, I was just picking Olivier's brain. We had so much fun. I think overall, you can ask anyone that was on the set of this film, there was just so much heart and so much fun and so much trust with each other. Like Garo was saying earlier, just this ability, everybody just brought their special thing, and you can see it in the film. I think it's what makes it so special is this, you really believe that you're in this world with these characters that are so defined and so unique and so in their space and in their lane. And I'm so happy to be a part of it because I feel like these are the kind of films that we're a little bit missing right now in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to sci-fi, everyone's talking about Star Wars and all their numerous spin-offs, and it's like everyone takes that one way too seriously. And Guardians of the Galaxy has that quirkiness to it, the Marvel movies, but this one was just like, this is something I missed from like maybe the 80s and the 90s, where it was just fun, just just roll with it and watch it. That's what I loved about the movie.
Films like Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Crash, those were brought and talked about a lot while we were doing this.
That's
Well, and
awesome.
you can really feel the love that Gatto and Joe has for the genre throughout the whole film. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
so many little nods to all these different movies throughout the years that they love throughout the film, and it's really just great to see.
Yep.
You know,
And
sorry, I was just going to say, when you were talking about Olivier, you know, he even helped choreograph one of the action scenes, because we didn't have our stunt coordinator on the day
Yeah.
when Nina and Taylor have their like confrontation. So, and I remember we were like, you know, staging some of it, and Olivier was just sitting there like looking like,
Yep.
and I looked at him like, you don't like it, do you? He's like, well, I could help if you want. He's like, okay, yeah. And then he got up there and he just started, you know, gesturing how they should be moving, and it came out great.
Yeah.
it
was
did.
so-
That was a great, that was a great scene. And Sarah, what'd you do in training for this movie? Because
Oh,
you must have done like, you must have trained so much for this role.
well, yeah. I mean, I've kind of been training my whole life. I guess you can say. I've always wanted to play a character like Taylor. She's a badass, and she, you know, runs through danger with no problem. But as far as like the training, you know, Tyler and I have trained a lot together in the past, and we were very comfortable with each other. And when you're doing fight choreography and fight stunts, you really have to trust the other person. And it's like a dance, and you have to be on point. And if you're not on point, somebody can really get hurt. So Gatto took us to Alan's Vegas Stunt Academy, and we spent Tyler and I spent the day there with learning different kicks and punches and falls and things like that. And then we took what we learned from there, and we trained at Wolfpack Studios a few days with some stunt pads, and just to get comfortable with each other, get comfortable with the moves, because you know, with the punching and kicking and stuff, you have to make it as real as possible with the punching, as much as you have to sell it. So you have to sell it and give it. Like they work very, you know, hand in hand together.
Yeah, and like Rachel, I'm a total nerd when it comes to the fights, to watching fight scenes. I mean, that's been my whole shtick like all my life. I used to watch kung fu movies as a kid, and you know, always had to watch like a good fight. And you know, there was some great fights in this one. But
Yeah,
overall-
especially the fight with me and Sarah. And really, like, I remember that day. That's probably one of my favorite days, was that day, and Olivier getting in there and showing us like how to make it so much more gritty and so much more real. And yeah, it was so amazing. And to be able to, like, between even Sarah and I, the trust that we had during our fight scene in very close quarters and in like the shortest amount of time. Like, I mean, we had to figure this out on the day, like so fast. And to be able to do that, I think takes so much trust, so much skill, so much just like all inness, because I think in other situations that just, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
You know what really helped too, that you knew how to like do these things on the fly. I remember your
Yeah.
agent showed me a video of you at a comic convention, just doing this totally crazy fight scene. You know,
Yeah.
you were
Well, I choreographed that one in the day because I have a big like gymnastics, martial arts, dance background, and so this is something I'm so passionate about as well, playing badass characters and fight scenes, and it's like a high for me. I can't get enough. So
awesome.
Yeah. And the movie the movie also had a lot of emotional moments, and there was one that really grabbed me, and it had to do with Elnora, and whereas not kind of like, it's not really a spoiler, but you know, when her son is out to go after Kip and Taylor,
Yeah.
and that whole thing, and then she's like, they both lost, you know, Kip was trying to be, I think at one point Kip was trying to be reasonable with her, saying,
Yeah.
you know, we both lost someone. You know, that one really grabbed me, but then Elnora just went back to her old over the top ways. You know, like, I'm still gonna get you for this.
That was Garo's direction too, you know? And also, I love Hunter. That's Anahit and Garo's
That's my
son.
boy.
Is he the cutest thing ever? So
I love his.
I felt like it was so fun to do that because Garo really you know, the one thing when we work together in automation, everything's really sweet, but he actually, not a lot of directors actually get beats. Like he's very specific, you know, but he's like, okay, you can play in the sandbox, but it would be really great if you hit these 3 beats. And I kind of loved that because it was in the writing, but there was just a moment, and sometimes directors miss their own scripts. You're like, it's in there, but Garo really gets it. And then, you know, him being, I'm kissing ass right now, but I really mean Hunter's the funniest, cutest thing. He should be a superstar. He was really wonderful to play my son. And I couldn't, I'm glad that you picked up on that moment because I had so much fun imagining that. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
and Sadie had a particularly tough go just because, you know, we shot her out in one day.
Yeah.
So she had to block shoot everything right, which can be very challenging. And she killed it. Like it feels seamless through the whole movie. Like we had her for multiple days.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's great. Everybody was great on this one.
Well, and most of the shooting was block shooting within each
Ship.
yeah, within each ship. We had to go through basically all of our scenes in one day in each ship. And that because we only had each certain ship for the good guys and the bad guys. We had to take one and put up the other, and it was a whole thing. And it can be daunting for some, but I think we did very well and it looked well. And Garo, you killed it with the directing, and you know, it made it so seamless.
It did. It felt totally smooth. Like there were no like plot holes at all. It just felt totally like right. The whole thing was all smoothed out, and it made it so much. That's what made it so much watchable as well. Like there weren't any little plot holes mixed in, as far as I know. The whole thing was perfect, if you ask me.
No, thanks. Joe wrote a great script, and it really just it was the groundwork for all the characters and all those little beats, you know, with the gun and the not going to work without this, little things like that, you know, peppered
Everything connected. Everything connected in the story. And he gave us so much to work with each of our characters, and just made it so easy to bring them to life and really be able to relate to them in some way.
That's awesome. So
Good job.
Yeah, costuming really helped with the characters as well. Joanna Heckman did, I thought, a phenomenal job with that. And you know, it's just something. The characters, they really do come to life because what Joe wrote, but then the actors we have, and then you put them in certain kinds of costumes, that helps it. And then you even have the music. The music had themes for every character.
Oh, exactly.
So, you know, it becomes this symphony, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, Michael looked like he looked like a cross between Han Solo and Star. I mean, if Harrison Ford didn't play Star-Lord, I could have seen Michael play Han Solo in Star Wars at this point, the way he looked in the movie.
Yeah, he was great.
The wardrobe was really just spectacular. You know, when you do a lot of these indie films, you'll be surprised how many times the directors are like, just bring in some costumes. And you're like, yeah, but that's, you know, that's a big thing. And I was so excited when Joanne brought out that big collar, and it was like exactly what I thought. And then we went, oh God, we're going to do this red lipstick and, you know, my hair a certain way. And it was like, gosh, I think a lot of people don't understand how exciting that is when you get to play with that. And then the props were really cool. And I mean, they were actually building, I think they were building like a corridor in the next space, right? Gar, what were they building? So, I mean, you know, when you're doing these films so quickly, but to have everyone put in 150%, when I saw it, I didn't even know like other scenes, what was going to happen. So I was kind of delighted as if I didn't know the story at all. I was like, this is amazing. So
yeah. And one of the things I liked also was the so-called love-hate relationship between Wade and Taylor. I mean, there was all this, I mean, that was a vital part of the film. Their little flirtation thing where, you know, Taylor feels a little sympathy, you know, they both feel sympathy for each other in some way, you know, and I felt like that was a very vital part of the script as well. And considering how you two worked together before, it just made it like natural. It was the chemistry was like natural right there.
Thank you.
I mean, it's always great working with Sarah. I mean, she is a true professional in every sense. And, you know, it's we trained really hard for this, but like you said, we've done other movies together and very different characters in every movie. So, you know, it's just, we had a great versatility opposite each other, and, you know, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That's awesome. So how long did shooting take? And were there any other complications that you faced during production besides like some of the fight scenes and stuff like that?
We had 12 days, I think, right, Joe?
11 days.
11.
11 days. I mean, it's always a challenge, especially when we never had more than one set ready at a time. It was always shooting one out and then building the next one for the next day. So there's always challenges with that, but it's a testament to the team we had, from the crew to the actors, that everybody was happy, everybody was in it and smiling and happy, because, you know, things could have went sideways multiple times, but we never even had a moment where it even approached that. Everybody was happy, everybody understood what we were doing. There's always challenges, but usually it's dealing with me, because I'm very OCD and weird about things, and the writers usually never allowed on set for that reason. But
Yeah.
um
But you're a complete asset to this film.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was so grateful for you being on the set. Like our scheduling, you know, that was Joe. I mean,
Yeah.
we were just sitting down together, and he, you know, we were mapping it all out, trying to figure out how many days we'll need on this part, and how many pages here and there, and who we're gonna have on what day and when. And I mean, but it worked perfect. So
And of course, shooting in the desert brings up its own challenges.
oh,
Yeah, I was just gonna bring up the one day I remember specifically was there was this huge fight scene planned between, like, we had 3 aliens and the 3 bad guys, and there was so much going on, and they were all filming other scenes, and the stunt coordinator we had been rehearsing this like really intense long fight scene, and then by the time they ended up getting back, we're literally almost out of daylight.
Yeah.
And then we're like all practiced and rehearsed and like hyped and ready to go. And like Garo sees what's up and he's like, this isn't gonna work, guys. You have to like do something different and figure it out in that moment while we're fighting daylight. And I'm in the desert in heels doing this fight scene, and aliens have costumes that are like, you know, flinging around, and there was just a lot of stuff going on.
we were really
did
blessed on that day. That turned out, what we got for the time we shot it was fantastic. I mean,
I think we actually shot, it was like, it felt like 20 minutes to film the entire, like, but we got so, I mean, it probably was more than that, but what could have been like a whole day shoot, like literally that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people would have planned a whole day for that. We did in like actual shot time, probably less than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive. You know, I've heard stories like that where they take little prep time and they just get the fight scene done, and it just comes out amazing. And that was, you nailed it. That was like one example there.
well, and the same goes with our DP, Michael Sue. He's shot fight scenes before, so he knew the right angles and, you know, where, you know, when we're going to be doing the punch, where to hide it and all this stuff. And,
Oh yeah.
you know, Michael was a very big asset to this film as well. And
Michael's awesome.
and he's familiar with stunts as well, so he was helping us out with, you know, how to choreograph certain things as well. So that was,
We have a good shorthand, having worked together before, so that really did help, you know, and it sped things along when it needed to really move quickly.
That's awesome to hear. Well, this movie's coming out next week. What's next for each of you that's up and coming that you can talk about? And I know one project that Rachel's had worked on, and that's finally coming this fall, The Legend of the White Dragon. I've been looking forward to that movie for so long now. And to see that it's coming out on, God bless his soul, Jason David Frank's 50th birthday. I mean, God bless him, man. That guy was an absolute legend. And I can't believe he's no longer with us. I'm still like, I still get emotional when I hear about that. But I saw the Legend of the White Dragon trailer, and I'm just like, I gotta see this. I have to see this ASAP.
Yeah, it gets me emotional thinking about it every time too. I think the actual, you know, I'm so grateful and so excited to get to be part of that project as well, and excited that I feel like both of these projects and another one I have coming out called Alien Country are all kind of in the same genre. And I'm so excited how they'll all help each other and support each other in the release of them. And I think all fans will hopefully like all 3 of them. But The Legend of the White Dragon being one that I think it'll be so exciting and so amazing, and some people are looking forward to it, but it'll also be one that I think everyone will love, but also just there'll be a lot of emotions going on all the time. But you know, I love JDF so much and just feel so honored to have gotten to spend so much time with him and to create such a relationship. And I feel him often, and I just, you know, ask him all the time, help me, guide me, help me be the kind of person that you were for people, in that way, that just he empowered and loved so many people. And I think just like everyone here, big dreamer, you know, I hope we all, with everything that we do, and especially this film, Legend of the White Dragon, Alien Country, there are all these stories of like big dreamers and how they overcame incredible obstacles, and everyone, you know, being like, oh, that's not going to work, you can't do it. And then somehow, some way figuring it out and being an embodiment of what is possible when you keep believing and when you align with other people that are on the same mission and same heart and same passion. I really do think miracles can happen.
I totally agree. All right, so what about the rest of you? What's upcoming that you can talk about? Who wants to start?
We do want to, you know, right now we're going to see how this one does. I definitely have another sci-fi project in mind. We already have another script, but we also are interested in potentially doing more Space Wars adventures. It
That's
seems
right.
like a fantastic game for that. So if you know, if this thing, you know, is well received and all, we'll do 2 more back to back. That's my goal. You know?
I'm getting the word out ASAP because this
Yes.
I loved it, and I would die to see sequels to this.
Oh, thank you. Well, and they would be individual adventures, something totally new, like with the same characters, just finding on a new quest, basically. Yep. So think like a Sinbad movie, not like a saga. You know what I mean? It will be, hey, here's more. You know.
There you go.
We're in pre-pro on our next feature film from our new production company that we're very excited about. We're going to be shooting the end of May, early June. So we're prepping for that. And we also have a film we did last year called That's a Wrap. We just signed with a distributor, and that will be coming out at some point this year, which we're also very excited about as well. And I'm in pre-pro on another feature that I'm going to be shooting right before this one. So it's going to be a busy, stressful next month.
That's a Wrap's a really good movie. I saw it. It's really good.
I'll check that one out.
And I'm just giving up.
Like, I'm done.
That was a line said a lot during our filming. Let's just quit.
It's a line I use to break the tension all the time, which is, well, we could just quit and give up, because you say it out loud, it's so ridiculous to ever think about quitting when you're in the middle of doing what we do, which at the end of the day is we make a living getting to play, and that's, you know, kind of ridiculous. And we never lose sight of that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we got a lot of cool stuff coming. What about you, Tyler? What do you got coming?
Right now, just I've got a movie Obscura I did what feels like forever ago that is finally coming out. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, that's right now, that's the only thing I've got in the near future coming out. Okay. So yeah.
And then finally, Sadie, what's next for you, that if anything?
Well, I have a movie that I did called The Beast Inside that is actually going to be renamed The Possession of Anne, and that will come out after summer. And then actually this summer is going to finally come out in the same genre as State of Desolation, which has Craig Stark and Jamie Bernadette and Jessica Morris and Dominique Swain. And it is a really fun kind of sci-fi zombie post-apocalyptic movie that I've been waiting to come out because I think people are going to be really blown away. And I just had a 7-month-old baby, which is why I look like I'm exhausted. He's getting walked with grandma. So I'm just now kind of like dusting myself off and being like, okay, I got to go back to work, and I'm shooting something, if all goes intended, in June. So
that's awesome.
You know, fingers crossed. Yeah.
So I'm putting a call out on everyone. You all need to see Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star. It will be out in select theaters next Friday, and then it'll be followed by a digital release in May. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic ensemble cast. You know, of course, Michael Pare and Olivia Grunet, they ain't with us, but we got the crew here, the rest of the people here, and they did a fantastic job. And I for one, I'm probably gonna end up watching it again, like ASAP, and just for kicks. And I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and doing this interview. I had so much fun. Like I said, this is the biggest group interview I've ever done. So it just made it more exciting to get to talk to all of you about this movie.
Awesome. Well,
Great.
thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, you're so awesome. Great enthusiasm. Thank you.
Well, everyone, check out WorldFilmGeek.com for latest interviews or reviews. You check out the YouTube channel where I have exclusive interviews. So until then, everyone, you all have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.